Hello everyone, my name is Damian Krasinski, the owner and operator of DK Film Studios, and today we've got another development log for you all. Whoop whoop! Exciting stuff. We've got some stuff to go over today, and I'm really excited to get on into it. So, real quick, so the next devlog, before we go on into the dev tracker and all that, for the next devlog, there might not be as much to discuss because, this coming weekend, the weekend of the 4th, I'm going to be on a little trip, so that's going to kind of diminish my time on working on some stuff, but I'll do what I can to get some stuff done before the next devlog, and go from there. I'll, of course, keep you all posted. I don't plan to work on anything while I'm off. I want to just take some time, enjoy myself, relax a little, yeah. Want to get that quickly out of the way before we get too far into things. So if there is any, that way if you notice next time, there's not much going on, that's why I'll bring it up again in the next devlog as well. So, let us, before we get on into everything else, go over the development tracker. We've got a new episode for Nerd Talking Neurodivergence. We're going to be discussing that later down in the episode. We have some updates regarding the search. Some stuff regarding misunderstanding, which I can't wait to get on into. I really can't wait to get on into that. Okay, so as we have some stuff to go over regarding misunderstanding and how it's doing, I am really happy with how it's doing. It is blowing my expectations, and I quite like that. We've got some other stuff to discuss. As always, I'm gonna definitely obviously, we've got some projects that still need to be worked on. I've got something I'm gonna discuss near the end, actually. I think we'll discuss this near the end once we get to the release tracker, because I do have some ideas on what I could maybe do regarding how to handle things moving forward with how misunderstanding is doing and what could possibly be done differently moving forward. We'll be discussing that, of course, in the next when we get to the release tracker. So, it's not after it, but we'll discuss that. We're gonna get into that. So, yeah, there's not that much, the same old usual stuff. Focus part 3 is being worked on in the edit. We'll discuss a bit more about that later. Let's just get on into it, shall we? So, that's the wrong tab. So we've got in pre-production, straight up the search. We're gonna quickly look at the development timeline. Actually, I need that, anyways. So as you can see, auditions have wrapped. We've had our auditions. We still need to do one more audition. We'll discuss that in a bit, but we have one more role we need to search for, and it's not who you think it is. Thank God. Given that, though, we are going to start looking into getting rehearsals started soon. I might do it before we get them started, before we start finding the one role that we are missing, but we'll see. We will see. We still need to deal with locations. I'm going to try doing it the weekend of the next devlog. We'll see, of course. I do want to try to get those done as soon as possible, so that we're not waiting on that. The script has been dealt with, pretty much been dealt with, which is good. There's no real need for changes, which is fine. As like I said, I'm going to look into more locations. There's a couple. I might see if I can take like a metro or something to get to those locations, or at least get close to them, so I'm not paying out the wazoo for them, but hey, we'll see. But yeah, crew, we're going to be working on that. That's going to be happening. We're going to really buckle down on that soon. Starting next month, that's really going to be the plan. We're going to start buckling down, get some more people dealt with, all that jazz. It's going to become more of a focus for me moving forward. But yeah, that's basically kind of it. As you can see, things are, in the process, at least with, the search. Yeah. Exciting stuff. So, as I have said, auditions have happened. They went well. We need to get started setting up for rehearsals. Now, we also have to continue looking for another role, as I have mentioned. We have filled Taurus. Johnny needs to be filled, which I'm fine with. So the actor we are having play Taurus, initially applied for the role of Johnny. Me and Amber thought that he would look good for Taurus because he had the natural color. His hair was the color we needed for Taurus. So we're like, let's have him be Taurus and ask him to be audition for him as well. He did. And we both like both of his roles. We're like, okay, which one do we want to do? We're going to have him be Taurus because, again, the natural red hair color, that's really going to save us in the long run. One of the issues we had back in the previous go-around was the fact that our original Taurus did not want to have his hair, couldn't have his hair dyed because he had another project the following day to go to, so we had to get a wig, and that was the whole thing, so we decided we're just gonna go from there and get him, dealt with. Get this guy, get Taurus dealt with, you have this guy be Taurus, save us some hassle, we'll take it, which is great. I'm happy we've got Taurus. As it said, I am going to try looking into some more locations regarding the film. I do want to check that out. Very important to do. As of course this is going on and all that jazz, with the rehearsals, we're going to continue looking for Johnny. I have a couple ideas on what we can do. We're going to talk, with Amber about that real soon, actually, which will be good. We'll also be working on reaching out for crew and people. We'll be reaching out to folks in July, which is with blah 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 blah. We'll be thinking about reaching out to some people in July who we've reached out to originally and we don't know what their deal is, and it's back earlier on in the year, and we want to confirm them as soon as possible, so we're going to reach out in July, start talking to them, get them locked down as soon as possible. I'm also going to double check the actors that we've already confirmed that are from the original round, and have sticked around, and see if they're still interested and still available to do it, because I want to make sure we're not having to look for other characters, and the more we have, the better, which would be great. That's what I want. So, that's about it for the search. The things should be ramping up real soon anyway, so, which is exciting. That's going to become more of our big focus. Yeah. Without further ado, now we're on to Talking Neurodivergence, Episode 2. Whoop whoop, exciting stuff. Announcing it here. I've got a day and time set up with another person. We'll be filming this weekend, or as the time of you guys will be watching this, we've already filmed it. Once I get that recorded, I'll work on it. I'll look into getting it edited as soon as we're done with the first episode, which we all know is going to happen after the search has been filmed. That's the plan, anyways. The reason why we're focusing it on after the search has been recorded is because it makes my life a little easier. That's less to worry about. I'm able to focus on just getting this edited and record. Again, I'm building up a backlog. I've been trying to make sure we've got some buffer time before in between projects, because after the search has been recorded, that's not going to be released for a hot minute. Anyways, the search, because Amber is taking some time with her draft. This is not throwing shade at her. Her life has gotten complicated over the last few months and very stressful, and it's becoming harder for her to work on her book, which is understandable. I don't blame her for having trouble with it. I wish she had more time. I wish she was able to actually work on it in a good way. Like, I want her to be able to continue working on this. I want her to, but right now, life is shit for her. Luckily, we're able to get her, at least the search is something that she's been looking forward to, and we're good to go. I feel like we're gonna be good to go. Once that episode is recorded and edited, that will go up on the YouTube as the plan is always, and we'll be going from there. That's basically it for episode 2. So, before we get on into Focus Part 3, please remember to comment down below and hit the subscribe button. So that'll help us grow in the algorithm and help us be seen by other people, which we would greatly appreciate. If you don't know what to comment about, comment what film you're interested in checking out and seeing from us. I look forward to hearing. I'd love to hear what you guys are interested in. I've got some great ideas, and I'd love to hear what you guys want to see. And yeah. So yeah, without further ado, on to Focus Part 3. In post-production, we've got Focus Part 3. I've begun to edit the film. I'm really liking how it's coming along. I really like how I'm handling stuff, especially some of the shots I'm using. I'm definitely liking how I'm cutting it back and forth between me and the other shots I've got. I really am liking it. I remember how I want to end it. It's going to be, so the idea is it's going to be cyclical in nature. I'm going to basically have the final shot be of the first shot from the first focus. To kind of be like, oh no, he's starting it all up again. At least that's the idea. I think that'll work. I have that shot in the timeline, so I can just lead into that. Right now it's like at around the 5-minute mark, that shot. I'm gonna move it around depending on what I need. It depends on what I'm doing. I've also begun looking for sounds for this film. I've grabbed a couple actually while I was at work. Just because some of the sounds that were like, ooh, this could be kind of cool to use. Just like how they sounded, and I wanted to use that for myself. Although I'm quite happy with how this film is coming together, I am really looking forward to getting further along in the edit with this film. Once things kind of died out a bit more of misunderstanding, we will. We do have one more thing to just work on for that. Well, I do, at least. And we'll discuss that real shortly, actually. Yeah, I can't wait to get this done. Of course, as always, as I mentioned, there's going to be a supercut of all these 3 films together. Anybody who wants to watch all 3 back-to-back, they can. I want to provide that to you guys. And we'll go from there. Now, last but not least, misunderstanding. So, the director's commentary has been released at the time I am recording this. It has been out for 10 minutes, which is awesome, and the BTS reel has been out for a week. I am really happy that those are finally out. That is really good. I have the deleted scenes reel made. I just need to get it rendered and uploaded. I'm not sure when I'm releasing it. I have an idea. I'm not going to commit to it yet. I will probably announce when those are coming out in the next devlog. We'll see. I do like how they are. Those weren't hard to take care of, honestly. Did not take long to edit, to put together, honestly. Quite happy about that. How it's kind of working is we're gonna, for at least for one shot that we had the original, how it was originally edited, and I added the last shot in. I just tacked the remaining bit on so you can kind of see how it was originally supposed to flow, and you can understand how that shot was supposed to go, how that scene was supposed to end, and I'm quite happy with how that looks. The other one I just literally took an earlier cut of the film, grabbed that bit of footage and placed it in because I didn't want to worry about re-editing it. I didn't want to have to worry about re-editing it. And that happens to be the very last shot we did for the film. Very last scene that was originally playing, which I discussed in the devlog, in the director's commentary. So you should definitely check that out. I highly recommend checking it out. And that way you can learn why we had to cut it. And why the shot, the scene we ended on is the scene we ended on in the film. So I highly recommend checking that out. But all in all, now I just gotta get the VFX breakdown dealt with. That shouldn't be that hard to do. My plan is I'm gonna basically take a shot that an original shot, so I know we've got, for I'm using scene ones, I know we've got a number of, we cut to a number of different, it cut to the same angle of Boris and Mary Jane at the table. We cut to that a couple times in the shot. I'm only gonna show it the one time, so the first instance of that shot, we're gonna show that for a bit. Wipe to the non-edited version, to the un-VFX version, and maybe wipe back to the VFX version. Or I might do the VFX to un-VFX, VFX, then VFX to un-VFX again. I don't know, we'll see. Depends on how I'm feeling when I gotta edit it all together, but I think that's gonna work out well. And that's gonna be kind of how I'm gonna do all the other shots. That shouldn't take too long to put together. We're gonna have to see. I will keep you all posted on that, though, nonetheless. But other than that, that's basically it for Misunderstanding and everything else, except for one more thing. We've got the release tracker to go over. So, Misunderstanding has been doing really, really well. Before we get on that really quickly, you have noticed that I have modified how the table looks. I mentioned this in the last devlog, and I'm quite happy with this, actually. It gives me a bit more of an idea on how films have done over time, and it's actually, I think we're going to stick to this. I don't know if I'll do the next 6 weeks, do 4 more weeks after this. It might just be these 6. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Misunderstanding, it is doing really well. In its second week, it got 742 views, and now in week 3, rounding off the end of week 3, it's got 1,174 views, almost 1.2 thousand views. That is insane. This film is the best film we have made so far. It has passed my petty goal. I am not going to tell you what that petty goal is. I had a petty ass goal for this film getting past 1,000, and I am so glad it passed 1,000. I am so happy that it passed that. This is awesome. This film is doing gangbusters for the studio, and I love that. Obviously, as you can see here, you can see how all the other films did respectively in the release tracker. I'm quite happy with. You know, it gives me, honestly, like I said, it gives me a better view of how these films did previously, how they did in the dev over time. You know, it puts things a lot more into perspective, which is nice, I will say. Can I see how films have kind of went up and then kind of petered out? This film, it did have a moment of petering out. I was worried for a few days it stopped, like the number stopped going up. I'm like, what? No, please, no, don't stop, please. I shared it to a couple more people, and that somehow probably got it going again, which is awesome. I love that for myself. I love that for this film. Like I said, I was trying to get past a petty goal. I mean, it passed whatever I originally had for the highest growth, highest used film in the studio. We're just seeing how far it goes over the next few weeks, for the next week, and we're just going to go from there, and I can't wait to see how it does. Now, I have alluded to a bit of this earlier on. Seeing the numbers that this film is doing has gotten me thinking, and my friend of mine and Amber, who is helping me with, who's working on the search with me, suggested I release more narrative-based films, more like skits and stuff like that. The devlogs aren't really getting much views, which I'm not that concerned about. Those are designed to help get you guys to understand what's going on behind the scenes. So there's something coming out that's to help feed the algorithm. Essentially, it's to help feed the algorithm because YouTube wants views. It wants people watching my content, and what better way to supply that than by uploading, hey, here's where I'm at every other week. I do shorts both weeks. I upload a set of shorts every week. Depending on what one week it's clips from the devlog, another week it's from, it's promotion stuff for the films. You're not getting notified about that because I make sure not to notify you guys about that. The documentaries and the music videos aren't doing the greatest. Like, yeah, only one has crossed 100 views, but it's nothing compared to what Misunderstanding is doing. So, an idea is I see about making more narrative films that are not as expensive. I have a film. I am not announcing it or saying that it's going to be released. I don't know yet. I need to sit down and look it over, edit it, and see if it will work. I have a feeling it will, but I don't want to promise anything yet because I don't know when I'm going to release that. That might be around the time I'm working on the search, working on the edits for the Neurodivergent Doc series episodes. We will see. I have to do some thinking about some ideas for that because it is something I could try doing. I don't really want to commit to anything yet. I don't want to sound like I'm committing anything because I'm not ready to commit yet. I really need to sit down, figure out some ideas I can easily do. What can I do? I don't really know what skits I could do. I can come up with some simple. I might take what's popular, people are doing that are popular online, and try using that. I really don't want to be doing what's trending right now. I really don't. I don't want my films to be dated. Okay? I mean, yes, Misunderstanding you could technically say is dated because of the fact that, well, AI is changed, and mind you, when I created Misunderstanding, that was before AI was really a thing. Like, the idea of it happened before AI started popping up and becoming a nuisance that it is today. So, I don't want to seem trendy or, like I'm trying to chase the views. Like, I mean, in a way, yes, I'm trying to chase views, but in a way that it's what I want to do. I have some ideas on some stories I can do. I don't know yet. I said, I'm not ready to commit to this. At least here publicly to you guys. Internally, I'm kind of looking to do this, but I need to, come up with, a plan and how I'm gonna, what kind of shots am I gonna do. This is not to say that the documentary series is gonna, the docs or the folk or the experimental short films are gonna stop. No, I'm gonna keep doing those because those are ways to help me become better as a filmmaker, okay? It's stuff to make, and there are ideas that I want to tell, like the Neurodivergent Doc series. That is something I'm really passionate about and I want to tell. But I also need more narrative films that are cheap to make and don't really require a crew. Now I can reach out to a couple of friends of mine who might be able to help out easily, help spend a weekend, spend an afternoon filming something. It might just be, hey, we're gonna sit down, make this film. Here's the general concept. Let's figure out our shots on the spot, kind of thing. I don't know yet. I have some thinking to do. I have some work to do on this. I can just do some testing. Like, I might, that film I mentioned, I might end up releasing it, and I want to see how it does. I'm not expecting it to do as good as Misunderstanding, but if it's continuously going up in views over week, and I do a couple more, I'm probably going to do a couple more narrative-based films, see what those do, and depending on how that works, that might tell me what I need to do moving forward. And that's the goal. I know I'm rambling a lot about this, but I really want to make sure I'm making the best decision for the studio in this early stage, because early on, you know, I'm trying to find my footing, find my grounding, and I don't want to spend too long focusing on something when I could be focusing on something else. And I want to make sure I'm doing the best I can for the studio and making the best decisions for this, because this matters to me. I hope to one day quit my job and run this thing as a full-time thing, okay? And I gotta figure out ways to do that. There's some work, some deciding, some things I gotta figure out, decide, but I'll keep you all posted. That's what these devlogs are for. They're to help you guys understand what I'm trying to do behind the scenes and how we're gonna be changing things up. Like I said, I'll discuss this once I'm more ready to commit to announcing that film. I will. We will see. And I'll have to go from there. But yeah. That's it, man. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this devlog. I enjoy making these for you guys. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on another film and these devlogs. I hope you guys are enjoying them. I enjoy making it for you guys, as I've said. So yeah, this is Damien from DK Film Studios signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one.